Hello everyone, I am Xerix Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to Century of Economy. The Spanish and American conflict continues, and the English-French conflict is heating up as well. Now, on to the action. The Spanish repair their ships at the Pride Rock trading port. The Colossus is repaired and now sails for the Spanish. The Americans continue to fight back, much to the annoyance of the Spanish. Here the Spanish Grand Temple has been given a fire mast. The Spanish are slowly pushing the Americans back. It's just not happening as fast as they would have hoped. The Shuizian is in trouble, down to 2 masts, and unable to damage the Amber Flame or Swamp Fox. Her crew is holding out hope for the Spanish reinforcements to arrive soon and take the focus off of her. The Spanish push forward with the Cruzado up to full strength and bolstered by the metal hull UT. The Egan has been reduced to flames, but has hit the Tirador twice with their own fire equipments. The New Constitution has also been hit hard and is down to 2 masts. The Egan is indeed sunk, but the Spanish still have a long fight ahead of them. The Americans have reassigned the Kanohi Island Squadron and have been using them to support the frontline gunships. Here, however, the squadron has taken a beating. The Congress is derelict and the Ocean's Edge Constitution has been set aflame by the Cruzado Nuevo. The Spanish have outfitted the Black Watch with a mercenary crew and sent her through the whirlpools. She emerges near pirate territory, but has her eyes set on the American colony in the North Sea. The Grand Temple takes El Paso under tow and makes for the trading port to put out her fire. La Fuega, San Cristobal, Santa Ana, and other ships prepare to engage the weakened American forces. In an ominous move, the Cursed send Shalbala into the heart of American waters. The Cursed have successfully brought the Pale Moon home, but not before the pirates took the Plague UT from them. At the end of their turn, the Cursed launched 4 ships at their home island. Divine Dragon with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and Musketeer. Grim Reaper with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and Stinkpot Specialist. Crushed Skull with Captain, Helmsman, and Oarsman. And the Scythe with Captain, Helmsman, and Musketeer. The Americans continue to fight, with some success. The Shuizian is sunk, and another Spanish ship is engulfed in flames. For their success, however, the Americans are facing an uphill fight. The odds are not in their favor, but they still hold out hope that they could somehow beat the Spanish. The Yankee and Carl Smith now occupy the space where the Shuizian once floated. With her sinking, all 3 of the Spanish 10s have been sunk by the Americans. The Roanoke tries to lend a hand, targeting the Cruzado Nuevo with her S-range cannons and fire shot and specialist. Alas, her specialist misses and her fire shot backfires. The Carnage surveys the seas on the eastern side of Split. Cursed ships are sailing west, toward the pirate home island, but also to American waters. The pirates have established their chain leading to the western side of Split Island, and are still preparing for the failed invasion of the French. The proximity of the Cursed has made them nervous. Voronezh and Tutorial Island continue to be pirate strongholds, with several layers of defense. With the now abundant whirlpools, it would be easy to sneak into the bay, but doing so would be like jumping into a hornet's nest. The Flying Dutchman makes sail for the American trading port on Pyramid Island. The RNS Legacy and Bombardier sail through the portal, guns blazing. The Revolution is set aflame, and La Triomphe is dismasted. English ships are sailing in force toward the French, eager to avenge the loss of the Valiant. The portal and its nearby whirlpool will be shortcuts and make getting into French waters easier. Here the Temple and other ships repair, while a handful make ready to sail through the portal. At the end of their turn, the English launch several ships from their home island, trading port in Hidden Cove, and at the portal. HMS Victor with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. HMS Westminster with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. HMS Lord Walpole with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, firepot specialist, and oarsman. HMS Belle of Exeter with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. HMS Oxley with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. HMS Botany Bay with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. HMS Bolingbroke with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. HMS Gallant, with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman, the HMS Wycliffe, with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman, and HMS Resistance, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. The new ships will still have to get to the front lines, and the French currently dominate them, collapsing on the Legacy and Bombardier, damaging those ships. The Triumph has been taken under tow, and the Revolution has put out her fire mast. The combined 3 and 5 storm moves north and takes on the Scorpion. The Scorpion only loses one mast, but could be sunk at the beginning of her next turn. With that, the resource values expired and new rolls were made. These rolls would be highly significant, as they were most likely the last rolls of the game, as well as another reason. With much anticipation, the dice were rolled, with a 4 coming up for value and an 8 coming up for duration. For the next 8 rounds, medicine would be the most valuable resource, which once again would benefit the Spanish. With these rolls, the house rule regarding mass elimination and combat were lifted. Mass would be eliminated after 1 hit as usual, and 1 hit would sink a derelict ship. This would have huge implications for the ongoing conflicts. The lifting of the house rule was not felt immediately, as La Fuega missed several shots against the Americans, but did manage to sink the Georgetown. Of major importance was the Armada and Company getting perfect shoot actions to destroy the trading port on Shipwreck Pathway. The new Constitution is sunk by the Acorazado. The Scorpion was indeed sunk by the storm, but Eternal kicked in, sending her back to the cursed home island, where she began to repair. At the end of their turn, the Cursed launched again, putting several ships into the water at their home island. The Bloody Blade, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Hades Realm, with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and musketeer. Abomination, with a captain, helmsman, firepot specialist, and musketeer. Guinea, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and musketeer. Drowned Man, with captain, helmsman, and musketeer. Pyre, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Spilled Salt, with captain, helmsman, and gunner. And the Sea Monkey, with captain, musketeer, firepot specialist, and cannoneer, towing the Silver Coffin. As before, the Cursed have many more launches planned, but lack the space to launch them all at once. The Amber Flame takes the Swamp Fox under tow and nearly sinks El Neptuno. Despite the lifting of the house rule, the Americans struggle against the Spanish, failing to connect with their cannons. That is not the case on the other side of Shipwreck Pathway, where La Fuega has been given a fire mast and had another knocked off as well. In the background, the Davy Jones cursed Saratoga has engaged the Galleon de Gibraltar, and the derelict hulk of El Leon has been sunk. The Kanohi squadron is augmented with the now fully repaired Thomas Jefferson, who has reduced the Corazon Nuevo to 1 mast and a fire mast. The Constitution and the rest of the squadron have crippled the Muerta Rapida, and taken the derelict Congress under tow. The stern of the submerged Yaoshuan can be seen at the bottom left of the frame, meaning that the Cursed have entered American waters. The Americans continue to misfire on the guns, only dismasting La Iberia, and missing everything else. The Americans prepare for the worst, with the Vengeance coming to port at Kanohi Island, with Roanoke not far behind. Fighting crew have been purchased for some of the ships there at the port, such as the Clipper, Swift Victory, and a few for the Kentucky, where Fleet Admiral Christian Pike resides. One-Handed John continues to watch over the eastern side of Split Island. John and his carnage are considered loose cannons by the rest of the pirate fleet. They cannot control what he does, and to who, and they dare not try to rein him in. Realizing that the game is beginning to wind down, the pirates play something they've had in mind since the beginning of the game. The Banshee's Cry found the runes of Odin at one of her first islands, and has held on to the UT ever since. Turning it face up now, the pirates placed it on an iceberg on the far side of Voinui near Split Island. With Thok able to move terrain, the pirates have a potent weapon in their hands. The pirates add to the woes of the Americans as the Flying Dutchman opens fire on the trading port on Pyramid Island, hitting twice. Even though he could have moved the runes of Odin iceberg, Thok instead opted to move the combined storm, placing it in between the Mano de Dios and the Carnage, more as a warning to the Spanish than to the Carnage. English ships begin to arrive around the portal. The French could soon be overwhelmed. The Dauntless gets in on some action right away, knocking off 2 of the Glory's masts and destroying the Bastille fort. The Bombardier was hit hard on the French turn, leaving only 1 mast standing. Using an extra action, she sank the Triumph and then sailed into the fog. At the end of their turn, the English launched, putting ships into the water at their home island, trading port, and at the portal, spending another good chunk of gold. HMS Titan, with Captain, Helmsman, Musketeer, Mulroy, and Oarsman. HMS Interceptor, with Captain, Helmsman, Woodes Rogers, and an oarsman. Nova Scotia, with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and oarsman. HMS Concord, with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, Firepot Specialist, and oarsman. HMS Auckland, with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, Musketeer, and oarsman. HMS Clearwind, with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and oarsman. HMS Hyena, with a Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and oarsman. HMS Regent, with a Captain, Helmsman, and Cannoneer. The Signet, with Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, and oarsman. HMS Ark Royal, with Captain, Helmsman, and oarsman. HMS Viceroy, with a Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, Musketeer, and oarsman. HMS Victoria, with a Captain, Helmsman, Cannoneer, Musketeer, and oarsman. Maui's Fishhook, with Explorer, towing the Tower Flotilla. HMS Nautilus, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. St. James, with captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. And the Gibraltar Flotilla. The Hercule enters the portal and sets an English ship alight. Continuing her volley, the Hercule sinks the Englishman. The Premier Republique gets into position, crossing the bow of the Dauntless, but only managing to eliminate one mast. The Premier is given a second shoot action, and the Dauntless is quickly crippled, down to one mast, as well as the Belle of Exeter. Needing as many capital ships as they can get, the French have repurposed the Neptune, who previously was used to house Amiral de la Flotte. De la Flotte and Monsieur Morel, the French cargo master, have been moved to de la Flotte's linked ship, the Épée de l'Ange, who was docked at their home island. At the end of their turn, the French rebuild St. Pierre where it once stood, reclaiming the lumber on the island, as well as giving the French another launch point in place to repair ships. And that wraps up this report. The game is winding down, but there is still plenty of action to come, as the English have made 2 large launches, and the Cursed are growing in numbers as well. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.